Hey everyone, this is Corey with Casual EDC, and today we're going to be taking a look at the RealSteel knives Poltergeist Works designed Phasma Free. So there are two versions of this knife, and this is the Phasma Free, which is the two-hand opening with the nail nick, and you also have the Phasma, which has a thumb stud. This was one in a giveaway, so this is the one that I got. It is a steel frame lock with D2 blade steel, a flat grind with a blade stock of 0.12 inches. Do a little bit of a size comparison here. This isn't that large of a knife. You have a 3.25 inch blade with an overall length of 7.75 inches. Benchmade bug out up top just for a little bit of size comparison, and the 84mm Victorinox Cadet on the bottom here. So as you can see, it's not a large knife by any means. You can take a look at it versus the Benchmade bug out. Pivot to pivot, you actually get a little more blade out of the RealSteel, and the handle size is relatively close to being the same. Very different knives, but very similarly sized. This is a steel frame lock, as I mentioned. There is some internal milling to help reduce the weight, but this is coming in at a 4.25 ounces. So if you are concerned about the weight, this guy's a little bit heavy, and the hardware choice is a little bit questionable for me. You have these, they're Allen keys on this side, or hex drivers. So it's hard to tell, but these actually have a six-sided shape to them. So you'd need to put a hex driver in this side, a very large one. And on this side, you can twist with a flathead. I happen to use a pry bar to do this with. It does have a nice deep carry clip with recessed screws, so it does sit very nicely. And this backspacer here gives it a little bit of pop of color. This standoff comes in with this goldish yellow color, which I like that. Good lock up here, and a very thin edge on this blade. D2 steel, and this thing cuts like a dream. It is very, very thin back behind this edge. I wish I had calipers. I really wish I did. It's got really great jimping on the back here, and this just wants to go to work. As I mentioned, it's super thin. I use my knives for cardboard mostly. I live in the suburbs, so I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not trying to chop through wood or break bricks or do anything crazy. Not cutting through metal, so a thin edge is something I really enjoy. And this knife really cuts well through cardboard. Paper test is fantastic. Let me grab this. Just my little cheat sheet here. As I mentioned, Poltergeist Works design, RealSteel Phasma Free, some little spec notes. But this is just a standard note card here. And you can see it glides right through with really almost no issue at all. And this has not been stropped after being used or anything. That's just the factory edge on this. As I mentioned, this is the Phasma Free. So it is the two-hand opening version with the nail nick here. And you really can't do this one-handed. I've tried. It doesn't have a strong enough detent to flip out. And there's not enough to catch there. But you can kind of pinch it on both sides and push it away. And then slow roll out. I carried this with a quick stud attached, which is just a removable thumb stud that goes onto the spine of the blade. And it was actually really nice to carry with that. Being two-handed opening isn't really my thing, so I decided to put that on, and it was great. But this knife is also fantastic. Two-handed opening, which they have both versions for legal reasons. If you happen to live in some place where two-hand opening is a requirement, then that's good for you. You'll be able to get this model, although this blade is above 3 inches and it is locking, so I don't know where those legal terms kind of combine. Yeah, I'm not aware of anywhere that doesn't have a blade limit and allows locking knives but have to be two-hand opening. If you live in a country where two-hand opening is your only real requirement, let me know, because I'm kind of curious as to where that it would be. But super smooth on these scales here. I thought about doing an acid wash with some stone washing for some texture on these, but I've decided to leave it as is. Really smooth and kind of slippery scales here. Not really much to speak of ergonomically. You can see it's got a little bit of a swoop here, and the jimping on the back helps, but ergonomically, it's not the best. I get a little bit of a hot spot right here from where the lock bar is cut out. The clip's good though. Clip doesn't really dig into your hand at all. It sits right down in this area. No problem. And this jimping's nice to give you some purchase, but it could probably be a little more aggressive. My thumb will slide really easily across the back of this. Really what this comes down to is the blade stock and how thin the edge is for me. That's what makes this a good knife in my book. With a thumb stud, it's much more fidget friendly. Two-hand opening, as I said, for legal reasons. This has plastic washers on the inside, which, let's see if you can get a little look in there. It's a little dirty, but there is plastic and phosphor bronze in there. I wish they would have just used phosphor bronze washers, but can't win them all. So the action's not great. You can kind of shake it with the lock bar pressed, but it's not going to close on its own. This will never be drop shut, no matter what you do, no matter how loose that pivot is. You can see the detent there, not crazy strong, but not super soft either. Not like it really matters if you're going to be opening this two-handed. It's not going to shake loose in your pocket, and that's what's important. But overall, it fits the hand well, and it cuts through cardboard like a dream, and I'm sure it would perform really well on food and other things like that. So that's really all I have to offer for you guys about this knife here. If you're going to pick one up, I highly suggest the regular Phasma version with the thumb stud. Just a little bit easier to deploy and fidget with if that's your thing. If two-handed is a legal requirement for you, then by all means get the Phasma free. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.